Good day children. We have chosen this topic today, emotional intelligence. Developing emotional quotient is the topic. I am sure all of you are aware of emotions and the different types of emotions we have. Can you name a few? We have a few positive emotions, we have a few negative emotions. Happiness, joy, surprise, all these will come under positive emotions. Sadness, fear, shock, all these come under negative emotions. All these things you can try and understand a little deeper how to develop positive emotions, right. You can try to there are more technical ways of defining emotions, like it's a positive or a negative experience that we have in association with something that we have experienced, or along with it we also experience some bodily changes, some physiological activity in our body. So, it can be because of the relationships, because of the mood, because of our circumstances, we go through different emotions. As you can see, there are different types of emotions that most of us go through on different days. So, a little bit of definition of what is emotional intelligence. So, it is also called emotional quotient is a measure of emotional intelligence. So, what is emotional intelligence? Once again we are trying to define it. It is the ability to identify, use, understand or manage emotions in a positive way to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges and diffuse conflict. So, the difference between IQ and EQ, we will go a little deeper later, is that intelligence is something that it is more or less constant for us throughout our age, but emotional quotient can be developed with proper practice and it can be improved. So, we will see how. Okay. So, a little more understanding of EQ is that we can tap into our emotions and use them to make our life better. So, if you look at the human brain, if you look at the picture here, you can see that there is a small part called amygdala. It is like the size of an almond. So, this is called the seat of all emotions. So, the seat of emotions is amygdala, where we are getting, that dictates how we feel, basically, that is controlling our emotions, and this part in the brain is very small but very important. So, if you look at emotional intelligence, there are mainly 4 attributes: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness and relationship management. If you go one by one, I am sure you understand what is self-awareness. How do you simply define self-awareness? Self-awareness is being aware of oneself. So, I should be aware of what I am feeling right now. How was I feeling when I entered the exam hall? How did I feel when I went on stage? So, these are the things I have to be aware of, what triggers what emotion in me, right. And then once I am aware of that, I will be able to manage myself better. So, if I know that the moment I go on stage I am going to feel very flustered, I am going to feel very disturbed, then I will prepare accordingly. I will make plans to manage myself better. What is social awareness? Social awareness is being aware of what others are feeling. It is very important for us to understand what our friends, our family members, or what our students or our team members at work, what are they feeling. Why is it important? Because man is a social being, right. We are all existing in different kinds of relationships and we are not living alone. Social awareness. Social awareness is our ability to understand other people's emotions, our family members, our friends, our colleagues, our classmates, our students, our teachers. Unless I am open to understanding what the other person is feeling, I will not be able to have empathy for them. Empathy, I am sure you understand, most of you understand what is empathy. The simplest and easiest definition of empathy is putting ourselves in other people's shoes, or putting ourselves in other people's place and trying to feel what they are feeling. That is empathy, right. So, unless you are able to understand what your friend is going through, you cannot have a better relationship with her. Your relationships are dependent on how well you are able to connect with other people on the emotional level, and that is the 4th point. Relationship management, if you see, is important. Unless people are open to emotionally being available as a support for their friends, being there as a friend, as a motivator, relationships do not last. So Daniel Goleman, if you have heard of him, he's written a book called Emotional Intelligence. In that he defines 5 main domains of emotional intelligence. So earlier we had 4 attributes. He just adds one more to it, which is motivating oneself, as you can see on the screen, knowing one's emotions, that is self awareness, as we already discussed, and then managing one's emotions, that is, once I know my emotions, how am I going to manage myself, because the feelings are not always going to be pleasant or positive. I should be able to handle myself when things are not going good, and the capacity to soothe ourselves when there is a disappointment. I didn't get the prize or the trophy that I was supposed to get. How can I manage myself at times of disappointment, when I am feeling gloomy, when I am feeling anxious, all these times, how do I manage myself? That is what is important, basing on our self awareness. And then the ability to bounce back is also important, bouncing back quickly when we have setbacks in life, that is managing one's emotions. Then the third domain, according to Salve, is that motivating oneself. Motivating oneself is essential for self mastery and creativity. We do face positive, like there are times when we are feeling good, we feel we are successful, we achieve whatever we want, but there are times when we are not able to achieve. That is when we need to motivate ourselves and pull us back from the setbacks, and again put us back on track. Like people writing the exams, competitive exams, one time if they don't clear it, doesn't mean that they are not good enough. They just have to strategize properly. Once they develop a right strategy, they will crack the exam the next time with much better performance, right? Also, sometimes we need to delay our gratification. Why? Because sometimes I might want to take a break and like imagine I am preparing for a competitive exam and I need to plan 9 to 10 hours of serious study per day, but there are times when I want to take a break. I might want to go sleep for a while, I might want to watch a TV or something for some. So that gratification, that satisfaction that I get, I should be able to postpone it and delay it and stay focused on what I have to do. And impulsiveness is another thing that we need to learn to control, and these people who can motivate themselves, they are highly successful and effective in life. Then earlier we spoke about social awareness, recognizing the emotions in others. It is very important for us to recognize how the other person is feeling. I am sure if you think of the people in your circle, as I am going through each slide, I would like you to try and imagine one such person in your life, not imagine, recollect. Like there could be a classmate you have, there could be a very good friend who will immediately catch saying, why are you so quiet today, why are you so dull today. So this is a skill that we have of identifying other people's emotions, and such people are very good at having good relationships. So they are usually having these, they are called social stars, and they are in caring professionals also. They are very good at maintaining the human relationships with each other. So there is a video now that you can see. It is related to emotional intelligence and what are the aspects and how we can develop.
Hey Psych2Goers, and welcome back to our channel. Have you ever deeply regretted something you said or did? Sometimes we act on impulse or let our emotions get the best of us. We have so many emotions, it's easy for them to take control. The 5 basic emotions are joy, sadness, fear, disgust, and anger. And they can all splinter off into many more feelings like jealousy, nervousness and disappointment, gratefulness, contentedness, and satisfaction. It can be easy to categorize our emotional outbursts as simple reactions triggered by environmental stressors, but it is in fact possible to control them. If you begin to recognize yourself as the master of your emotions, there will be fewer moments of regret or upset in your life. Mastering your emotions is hard, but anyone can do it. In this video, we'll be giving you a few tips to help you master your emotions. Number 1, Recognize and deconstruct your emotions. If you do not know how to articulate how or what you're feeling, it's difficult to master that emotion. But before you can articulate what you're feeling, you have to actually learn what it is that you're feeling. Developing a clear sense of what you're feeling can prevent binge behavior that stems from emotional stress. One way to develop emotional awareness is to keep track of your emotions. Ask yourself, what are you feeling and when did you start feeling that way? And what was it that caused you to feel that particular feeling? This practice of recognition prevents you from generalizing your emotions. For example, feeling bad can be broken down into many different ways, such as feeling anxious, frustrated, or afraid. Studies show that affect labeling helps reduce related stress and anxiety. Once you've developed a vocabulary for your emotions, you will then be able to deconstruct them down to physical manifestations. Physical sensations are the brain's natural way of coping with overwhelming feelings. Learning to recognize these manifestations can help you untangle yourself from your emotions. For example, if you're anxious, you may feel your heart race, your chest constrict, or have sweaty palms. When you're angry, you may feel hot, like the blood rushes to your face and neck and bubbles under your skin. You might clench your teeth or fists in anger. Or when you're sad, you may feel physically heavy and exhausted and struggle to motivate yourself to get out of bed. Number 2, develop emotional intelligence. Fostering emotional intelligence is perhaps the first step towards mastering your emotions. Emotional intelligence is a buzzworthy word, but what is it? Generally, emotional intelligence involves the ability to identify and name emotions, coupled with the ability to harness these emotions and apply them to certain tasks, and to manage your emotions. Cultivating emotional intelligence will help you better define what you're feeling in any given situation and thus tailor your reactions to fit the moment. You might often generalize your emotions. For example, spilling coffee on your favorite sweater automatically ruins the rest of your day. But if you learn to recognize what you're feeling at that moment, then you'll know what next steps to take so that it does not affect your entire day. Some skills that can help you cultivate emotional intelligence in your life are to practice self-awareness, learn how to channel your emotions, and figure out how to motivate yourself, and also cultivate empathy for others as well as yourself. Number 3, learn new concepts. New experiences can open your mind and introduce you to new perspectives, which in turn allows you to create new behavioral patterns. Many of us prefer to rely on established behavioral patterns instead of adopting a new behavior model. But having an open mind about life and viewing situations from different perspectives helps you to recognize and accept personal responsibility for your own success or failures. You can learn new concepts by experiencing new cultures, learning a new language, or reading a book. Learning new concepts stimulates your neurons and helps create new connections. Scientists suggest practicing an activity that is challenging and complex to help with this. Number 4, practice self-care. Self-care can influence how well you master your emotions. Scientists at the New Mexico Highlands University have found that walking can increase cerebral blood flow, which creates mental clarity. Exercise also decreases the chances of ruminating thoughts and decreases neural activity in the subgenual prefrontal cortex, thus improving overall mental wellness. Some other ways that you can practice self-care are by practicing good hygiene, making sure you drink enough water, and getting enough sleep. Meditation and social connection also help you balance and let out your emotions. Number 5, savor happiness. Someone once said that happiness is like the weather. It comes and it goes. Hence, try and appreciate it when you do have it. During the moments when it feels like it's you against the world, happiness seems like a rarity and can be easy to overlook. But try to find moments of happiness when there seems like there are none. Congratulate yourself on something you've accomplished. Keep a positivity journal when you express gratitude for something that made you happy. It doesn't have to be a life-changing event. It can be something as simple as playing with a dog or treating yourself to some ice cream. Our brains are hardwired to remember negative experiences. So disrupt the pattern with remembering and holding on to happy moments, and this will help you to evolve past those negative emotions. Did you find this video insightful? Mastering your emotions takes time, patience, and willingness on your part. So it's important to be kind to yourself through this process, for it isn't easy and road bumps are bound to occur. If you have any tips about your journey towards emotional acceptance and clarity, let us know in the comments below. Please like and share this video if it helped you and you think it could help someone else too. The studies and references used are listed in the description below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more Psych2Go videos, and as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
So, bringing us back to EQ, as you know, EQ stands for emotional quotient, right? So, you would have heard of IQ a lot. IQ is intelligence quotient. So, there are so many more things that have come up in recent times. Recently we have heard of spiritual quotient. We have heard of adversity quotient during COVID times. People were talking about the ability of people to be resilient in adverse times, and the ability to bounce back, that is called adversity quotient. Spirituality quotient was measuring our ability to have faith and how spiritual you are. That is something that was measured in the spirituality quotient. Then we have social quotient, again talking about how social we are, how good we are about in our interactions with people. And the latest that I heard is curiosity quotient, which is also important, a measure for knowing how curious a person is, how willing a person is to learn and grow. Right. So, coming back to IQ versus EQ, you know, intelligence quotient is important in our life. We need IQ because that is what we measure in all the tests that you go for, and it is a measure of your intelligence, it is a measure of your success, right. And then you have EQ on the other side, which is not so old as IQ. EQ is fairly newer field of research. Emotional quotient measures our ability to handle our emotions, as we said, all those 5 attributes, if you remember, our ability to be self-aware, our ability to manage ourselves and to motivate ourselves in times of disappointment and setbacks, and how we are able to identify the emotions in others and how we can improve our relationships. So, that is the EQ. Now, which one is more important? This is a very debatable question. It has always, IQ has always been given a very high pedestal in life. IQ is supposed to be very important for a person. Any test, any job that you go to, they measure your IQ, right? But which do you think is more important? We will see. So, when how to measure IQ? How to measure IQ? A simple way of measuring IQ is that you take the mental age of the person and the chronological age of the person. So, sometimes they have tests which measure and say that a child who is 10 years old is able to do a puzzle in so many minutes, then the child's mental age can be calculated as 12 or 15, right. So, when they take that, and the chronological age is that from the date of birth, if you count, like for example, a child born in 2014, let us say January or something, by 2024 January the child is 10 years old, right. That is the chronological age. And what is the formula for getting the IQ of a person is, you take the mental age of the person and divide it by the chronological age and multiply by 100. So, for example, in the IQ test, they measure the mental age of the child basing on the speed and efficiency with which he has done the puzzle or the solution for any question that they have asked. So, let us say the answer is 15. So, 15 by 10 into 100 gives us 150 is the IQ of that child. So, that is how we measure IQ. So, IQ and EQ, if you see, you have typical people in your in your life. You would have seen high IQ men, you would have seen high EQ men, you would have seen high IQ women, high EQ women. So, you can actually look at what are the qualities, you can actually see what all things that a high IQ man usually has. So, they have wide range of intellectual interests and abilities. They are very ambitious, they are predictable, they are productive, and they do not get too concerned about themselves. They do not really have major concerns about themselves. They are pretty critical, they are condescending in a way to their subordinates or to others. They are fastidious and inhibited. So, they kind of are more focused on, they do not express themselves very easily, they are detached, and they are not very sound emotionally. Emotionally they are not available, they are bland. Okay. And talking about high EQ people, if you see there is a high contrast between high IQ and high EQ people. High EQ people can also be very intelligent, but they are very good in their interactions. They are socially poised, they know how to present themselves, they are outgoing, they are cheerful. Everywhere, if you see all the 5 attributes that we were discussing earlier, they keep coming out as a qualities of a EQ person. So, they are committed to people, they are committed to causes, they take responsibility, they have an ethical outlook in life, they are not prone to fearfulness or worry. They do not worry too much about life, and they are sympathetic, they are caring. Their emotional life is rich, but it is appropriate. That means they have a lot of satisfaction in what they do. They are able to understand their emotions, manage them well. They are able to understand other people's emotions, support them well, and they are also comfortable with others, right. So, that is the main quality of EQ. And if you see a high IQ person may be very good at solving problems, they may be very good at doing their work, but they may not be very comfortable when it comes to other people's emotions. Some people do not know how to console a friend who is crying, they just freeze. That is an IQ person, that is a high IQ person who does not know how to show a lot of EQ. So, high IQ women, again like IQ men, they have high experience, they have a lot of intellectual confidence, they are very good at what they do, they are fluent, they express their thoughts, their intellectual matters are very important to them. They have a lot of aesthetic interests also, and they introspect, they are very good at academic things, but also they could be prone to anxiety, rumination, guilt, because they are always high strung, they are always having that stress in life, and they hesitate to express their anger directly because they are not very good at emotional expressions. So, they are always trying to indirectly express their upset or anger. But if you take EQ women on the other side, what are they showing? What are the qualities they show? They are assertive, they express feelings directly, feel positive about themselves, life holds meaning for them, outgoing and gregarious. They are very, very important. These things are more important for them in life. They express their feelings appropriately. They do not outburst, and they do not have outbursts, and they do not have moments of regret like I shouldn't have said that, or I should have not done that or something. And then they adapt well to stress. They know how to handle stress better than the other people we are discussing. They easily reach out to new people. They are very good socially, and then they are comfortable with themselves. They are open to new experiences, these adventure sports kind of things, and they do not usually feel anxious or guilty, and they do not end up in rumination like the IQ people. So, IQ or EQ, which is important? That is what we were discussing some time back, right? If which is more important? That's a very difficult question to answer. Both are important. IQ is very important because unless you have a certain degree of IQ, you cannot even get into a good school, you cannot get into good colleges or good jobs. But what helps you stay in that school or in that college or job without getting stressed, without getting flustered, and facing all this and coming out successful is EQ. So, IQ helps you reach whatever you have to reach, but then to continue there, if you see so many people even in IITs have had high amounts of stress, right. So, the people who are in high positions or a stressful college or a stressful job, they need EQ to sustain. Why is it so important? Why do you think EQ is so important? Again, we have already understood that as human beings, we are all emotional beings. Emotions are what define us. Emotion is something that there is no part of the day, no part of our waking hours that we do not feel any emotion, right. I mean, unless I am seriously trying to meditate and trying to feel nothing at that moment, or some effort is being put in being in that calm state, unless we do that, we are always feeling some emotion. Either I am angry or upset or happy or content or scared. Emotions, there are lots of emotions, and it is important to work. Like I said earlier, it is important for us to work on this because EQ can be developed. IQ is something that, using that formula, my IQ is probably 120, 125 or whatever is a normal IQ of a person. But EQ, if I take my score, I can actually identify what are the areas I can work on in these 5 attributes, 5 areas that I spoke about. Yeah, maybe my social skills I can improve, maybe the way I don't analyze or I am not so self aware, maybe I need to improve that area. So, you can always work and improve your EQ, right. So, why is it important? Because it affects our performance at work, it affects our health, it affects our relationships, our mental health, physical health, and it is important for conflict resolution. Sometimes if there is an argument or a disagreement, how we handle it is more important than the actual outcome of the argument, right. How people, I mean, name calling, or people end up hitting each other, or getting aggressive. You have all sorts of examples even in social media, all these, like recently if you remember, people fighting in a cricket stadium. So, everybody has a way of expressing themselves. People with high EQ manage conflicts better. Success, for success EQ is very important, because we have been defining why it is important, and it is a very essential leadership quality. Definitely we need all these things are possible only when we have a good amount of EQ. So, we will do a small activity for EQ self assessment. So, there are some questions that Daniel Goleman asks. So, you can just take a paper and pen if you can, and write down yes or no for all the questions that I am going to ask you, and then you can just see how many you got. If you got more than half, it means more than 50% of the scores are yes, then your EQ is more than 50%. So, the higher the score you get, the higher your EQ. So, can we just see where you stand right now? So, there are some questions. Do you understand both your strengths and weaknesses? That is the first question. You can just write one and write yes or no. Can you be depended on to take care of every detail? So, can I trust you with a birthday party planning, or planning a farewell party or something? Every detail can you take care? Third one, do you hate to let things slide? Some people don't act on time, they really don't. Will take care of it tomorrow, I will address it later. So, are you that kind of person who hates that thing? I don't like this. If something has to be done now, it has to be done now, or today it has to get over. Are you that kind of person? Are you comfortable with change and open to novel ideas? That is the fourth question. New creative ideas, are you open to that? Because some people don't prefer change, they just want to go as per plan. Whatever has been going on, it has to go on the same way, right? And the fifth question, are you motivated by the satisfaction of meeting your own standards of excellence? So, I have these standards that I want to meet. So, are you feeling motivated that this is my standard of excellence, and I want to meet are you motivated by the satisfaction of meeting? So, do you meet your own standards of excellence, and are you feeling motivated by it? Number 6 is, can you stay optimistic when things go wrong? So, as I said, things are definitely not going to be rosy all the time. We are all going to feel good emotions sometimes, bad emotions sometimes. You could get stuck in a traffic, and that could cause a lot of stress. So, you could get delayed. So, that could lead to a lot of other issues, right. So, can you stay optimistic when things go wrong? Do you let customers' needs determine how you serve them? This is customers is in the field of work. If you are working, for example, let us say you own your own business, right. So, do you let their needs determine how you serve them, or do you have your own plan of how do you want to serve them? Do you enjoy helping co-workers develop their skills? I know I am very good at this, but somebody else wants to learn something from me, for example, Excel or something. So, the 8th question is, do you enjoy helping co-workers develop their skills? So, if there is something you are very good at technology wise or anything, you may be good at Excel, for example, or some other technical thing that some co-workers asking help for. Some people enjoy helping others, some people may think it is a waste of my time, I do not want to sit and teach her something, I might as well finish something in that time. So, are you the kind of person who enjoys teaching others what they want to learn and develop their skills? Then the next question is, can you read college or family politics accurately? Some people are very good at reading the body language of the other person. The moment I enter the room, I should be able to find out if people are happy when I enter the room, or people are just exchanging glances and rolling their eyes, or I don't know. Some people are very oblivious, they don't even realize that they are not so popular in this friends group or something. So, that is again low EQ, right. So, can you read easily what is the dynamics, what are the politics going on in the family or college? Then are you able to find win-win solutions in negotiations and conflicts? So, there are going to be conflicts, as I said earlier. So, are you able to find a solution where both the parties are able to benefit equally? So, a win-win solution is where nobody is a loser, nobody loses it. So, we should try to find a via media solution where nobody is really feeling like I had to sacrifice, right. So, are you the kind of person that other people want on a team? So, there are certain people that people really want on their team. Are you that kind of person? Do you have those kind of qualities? Do you enjoy collaborating with others? So, this is something that when you are collaborating with others, you like being on a team, you are a good team player, right. So, are you usually persuasive? Are you able to make people see the point of view that you are your point of view? Are you able to get them to understand what you are saying? And the last question is, can you see things from another person's point of view and sense what matters most to that person? So, somebody is saying something, are you able to go into their position and understand what they are saying, and are you able to, this is empathy, right, are you having that skill? So, you can just count the number of yes you got on the score. I think there are 13 questions here. So, you can just try and see how many yes you got. So, anything above 7 means you have good EQ, and the higher the score over 7 is higher EQ. But if your score is somewhere around 3 or 4, then look at the individual questions where you have not got yes, then try to develop in that area. That is how we work on EQ, right. So, my social skills are not so good, maybe I am not so comfortable with change. So, you can look at each individual question and then decide what you want to improve on, and it's a stepwise process, it's a very gradual process. Today, if my EQ on a test is some let us say 7 on 10 or 4 on 10 for example, maybe after 6 months it will be a 6 on 10 if I start working on the different areas of improvement. So, how do we develop? Now that we have established that it is important to have high IQ, the more EQ, the more EQ you have, the better you are able to manage your life stresses, right. So, how do we develop? So, think about what are the different ways you can do, what are the different things you can do to develop your EQ. So, the main thing that you can do, the 3 areas that they have pointed out, is the tapping into your own emotions. Okay, I have to understand my own emotions. So, as you can see, note your emotional reactions to events throughout the day. What is self awareness? What do you mean by tapping into your own emotions? It's being first thing, how do I react? How do I react when I am stuck in a traffic jam? How do I react when there is a person who's blocking my way, and do I just snap, do I get irritated, or am I patient, or do I get scared, or just be aware of what you are feeling at that point. At that time, whatever is going on in my mind, what is going on in my body, pay attention to your body, try to understand. When this happens, I immediately get a headache, or I start sweating, or I am clenching my teeth, I am clenching my fists. Observe how your emotions and behaviors are connected. So, what all times do I start clenching my teeth? When is my jaw really tight? When do I start getting upset? What are these physical changes? Whenever I have this, try to relate it. Oh, okay, every time I am stressed, I am sweating, my palms are sweating, right. So, you try to connect that emotion and the behavior. Avoid judging your own emotions. I am only asking you to observe your emotions. We don't have to judge, okay, this doesn't mean I'm a good person or I'm a bad person, right? So we are not trying to look at it that way. Notice the patterns in your emotional history. What do you mean by emotional history? Like every time, last time I went on stage, I froze, I couldn't say anything. I went there to give a speech and I forgot my lines. So next time I go on stage, it's going to happen. Every time is happening. You just have to just analyze and not judge yourself and practice deciding how to behave. Now that I know, now if I go on stage, I'm going to keep my friend next to me, I'm going to look at my friend and talk, or I'm going to, whatever your teachers have given you inputs on how to work on your stage fright or something, that is something that you can do. So first important thing is to tap into your emotions, see what all bodily changes are coming along with it, what is the behavior that is associated with this, and what is that happening. Do I have a history of having these kind of emotional situations, and then I decide how I'm going to take it next time when I go there. How am I going to behave? How am I going to change? That's the first part of tapping into emotions, is the first part of how to develop emotional intelligence. The second part is connecting with other people. Remember that social awareness was a part of emotional intelligence. Connecting with other people means being open minded and agreeable. Okay. Improve your empathy skills. Remember, we spoke about empathy. It is important to put yourself in their position and understand what they are trying to say. Read people's body language. As I said, when I enter a room, I should know whether people are happy to see me, or people are okay, not neutral, or some people are actually not so happy to see me. I should be able to say, okay, I should be able to understand what the other person is feeling. Then see the effect you have on others. Sometimes people just, they just kind of argue with them. Anything I say, I may be facing a lot of resistance from people. My points of view are not easily accepted. Whatever I say, they don't want to take it, and they'll always say something else. Is that, observe, is that what people are doing? Otherwise, see the effect. Are people happy to meet you, listen to you, and practice being emotionally honest. When you're honest, when you're emotionally honest, you don't have to put in an effort. I don't have to pretend to be happy when I'm not happy. But yes, I have to be, I cannot show it always. When I'm at a wedding where I don't want to go, my mother's dragged me to this family wedding that I have to go. I cannot be honest and say that this is not where I wanted to come. I wanted to be with my friends today. Obviously not. But be honest to yourself. Be nice to them, because that's what you're supposed to do, and try to come home early or whatever, but honesty to yourself is the most important thing, right? And the third point is putting EQ to practical use. Now that we know that I have this much EQ, let us say 6 on 10 or a 7 on 10 is my EQ, right? So now I know this. So I have 6 EQ out of 10 points. So how do I put it to practical use? So as I said, look for rooms for improvement. Look at those 4 points where I could have scored a yes, but I got a no. So what can I do differently, right? Maybe I should just sit and listen to people better. If somebody starts talking about their problems, I should not just snap at them saying that, oh, every time you just start opening your bag of complaints. Maybe that person just needs a kind person to listen to them. So maybe let's give them that space, right? Then lower your stress levels by raising your EQ. When your EQ is high, your stress will be low, because your expectations will be managed better. And then be more light-hearted at work and at home or at work. Be light-hearted in what you do. Use a little humor. Don't take life too seriously, because this is one of my favorite quotes, is that don't take yourself so seriously, because nobody else does. Okay, we don't have to build that stress in us that I have to be perfect in everything I do or something. It's okay. Sometimes to take a laugh at ourselves also is fine. So now we'll talk about the key skills. Key skills that we need to develop our EQ. What are the two main skills that we need to develop our EQ? Controlling and managing overwhelming stress and improving communication. These are the main things. We will face stress. We can never say that life will not be there. There will be no stress in life, or when we do this, we will become stress free in life. No, I should know what triggers my stress, how do I control it, especially when it gets overwhelming. And improving communication is one key factor in developing EQ. So, if you can see about stress, the ability to quickly reduce stress in the moment, that is important. The ability to recognize our emotions and keep them from overwhelming us. So, when the emotions become negative emotions become too difficult to bear, that is when we say we are feeling overwhelmed by them, right. So, that ability is important. Then the ability to rapidly reduce the stress in the moment. So, you find out when are you stressed, you realize when you are stressed, then you identify your stress response and discover the stress busting techniques that work for you. Now, you have to find out what are those techniques, what helps you de-stress, what are the things that like some people love to go for a walk, some people love to go for a swim, some people love to take a nice hot shower, some people like to play with the puppy or with babies, listening to music. You find out, I am sure you know a lot more stress management techniques than I can list out right now. What works for you, that is more important. Find them and you use them. First you identify what is stressing you, and then you try to get out of that situation, manage it, and then try to practice some de-stressing techniques. The usual way of responding has to change. Then controlling and managing overwhelming stress means beat stress with emotional awareness. So, when you have relationship stress, for example, you can beat it with emotional awareness. Like you ask yourself these questions: what kind of a relationship do you have with your own emotions? Are your emotions accompanied by physical sensations that you experience in places like your stomach or your chest? They say butterflies in my stomach. So, do you feel that kind of thing? What is that relationship you have? What is the bodily change? What is my relationship with my fear? What is my relationship with, every time I get into a new room full of people, how do I feel? I have to be aware of my relationship with my emotions. Then how do I handle them? What are the physical sensations I am feeling? Do you experience feelings of emotions such as anger, sadness, fear, joy, each of which is evident in subtle facial expressions? Subtle facial expressions change for you. Just be observant of that. Can you experience intense feelings that are capable of capturing your attention and also the attention of others? Can you feel such emotions? And do you pay attention to your emotions? How important are your emotions in your decision making? So, that is what you have to understand. Now, what do you mean by improving communication, and why communication? Why is communication important for developing EQ? Because communication is the main skill for us to interact with other people, right? The ability to connect emotionally with others even without using language, using non-verbal cues, non-verbal communication, understanding, looking at the face of the other person, you are able to say whether the person is angry or sad or happy. So, we should have that ability to connect with them either verbally or non-verbally. And when we improve our communication skills, like I said some time back, we were talking about, are you even able to find out what people think about you? Are you able to read what they are feeling about at that point of time, either about you or in general, right? So, ability to use humor. As I said, sometimes it is okay to laugh at our own silliness, small mistakes that we do. Sometimes we have to use humor, and we should be able to overcome challenging situations, right? We should not freeze thinking that if I am not perfect, I am not good enough. So, I have to give myself 100%, or what will others think about me? These are not what we should encourage in ourselves. The ability to resolve conflicts, stay positive with confidence, this is also important, right? To resolve conflicts positively means like a win-win situation, like we already said, right? So, what is non-verbal communication? Successful non-verbal communication depends on your ability to manage stress, recognize your own emotions, understand the signals that you have been sending and receiving, either non-verbal communication from me to you or from you to me. So, when we are communicating with the other person, we focus on the person, make eye contact, pay attention to non-verbal cues. Use humor and play to deal with challenges. It is important for us to use humor to have playful communication, to take hardships in our stride. So many challenges keep coming, so we have to keep going, smooth over differences. We can use humor for that, and then simultaneously relax and energize yourself. You need to energize yourself. It's okay. As I said, don't take life too seriously. Then you become more creative also when you lighten the stress of the moment. And then you can resolve conflicts positively. Then tips for resolving conflicts in a trust building way. What all can you do? You can stay focused in the present instead of choosing something that happened last year. Oh, last year also you did this. So we don't bring in all old baggage into this. And then we choose our arguments, we forgive. We need to choose to forgive, not hold on to grudges, and end conflicts that cannot be resolved. So if there is something that you have your point of view, I have my point of view, let's not talk about this anymore. So you have these people who are sticking to their point so strongly, but they don't want to see the other person's point of view, but then the conflict is never going to to get resolved. So what you need to understand is the relationship has to definitely mean more than our individual point of view, right? So here are 10 more ways to enhance your emotional intelligence. You can see that it is important that when we do these small things, when we take these small tips, our emotional intelligence. So here are 10 more ways to enhance your emotional intelligence. So if you look at your screen, you can see this very simple tips. Don't interrupt or change the subject. Imagine there is a discussion going on which you don't like. So you don't have to interrupt them, you don't have to change the subject. Listen to the other person and give your point of view. And as I said earlier, let's decide, let's agree to disagree. It's okay, you can keep your point of view and I respect it, and I would like to stick to my point of view, and I would expect you to respect that. So sometimes it's okay. This is how we deal with conflict. Don't judge or edit your feelings too quickly. I could be feeling jealous, I could be feeling, let's say I don't like the fact that she gets such nice gifts from her aunt who lives abroad or something like that. Let's say it's okay for me to feel jealous. More important, I need to acknowledge and be kind to myself and say it's okay. But I don't have to cover it up saying, oh no, this is not right, I'm not feeling jealous, it's just that dress looks so ugly or something. We tend to go into a deeper mess when we try to deny things. It's better that we don't judge ourselves. It's okay that I acknowledge whatever I'm feeling. I could be feeling insecure, I could be feeling jealous, I could be feeling scared of this particular person or doing something. So be open to your own feelings. See if you can find connections between your feelings and other times you felt this way. So every time, as I gave you the earlier example of going on stage, so every time I go on stage, I have this feeling in my heart, a palpitation or butterflies in my stomach kind of feeling. So have I felt this way earlier, some other time before? So you will see that every time when the focus is on you, when you are giving a presentation or something, that is when you feel very nervous maybe. So connect with your feelings with your thoughts. Sometimes you try, as I said, what was I thinking at that time? When I suddenly start feeling panicky, when I feel anxious, when I feel uncomfortable in a particular situation, try to see what was I thinking at that time. So you may identify a trigger for your negative emotions. Listen to your body. So the mind, the body, they're all connected, right? So our behavior, our thoughts, our feelings, there, if you draw a triangle, you can see that they're all connected. So if I feel happy, my body will have, the happy hormones will be flowing in my body. I will be relaxed, I will be feeling calm, there will be no palpitation or sweating. These kind of things are associated with negative emotions, and my behavior will also be, I will be behaving nicely, I will be talking to people, I will be smiling, so this is what you listen to your body. If your body is stiff, if your palms are sweaty, and if you are feeling very tensed, what is it that is going on in your mind? Okay. And then the other points, if you don't know how you are feeling, you can ask somebody. Some people are not very good at identifying their own emotions, they can ask somebody else, like I don't understand, I don't know why I'm feeling, I'm shivering, my palms are sweaty, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. You can talk about this to somebody close to you. Tune into your unconscious feelings. Like they say that the conscious part of our feelings is a very, very, very small part. The subconscious is much more. So sometimes you can try and become quiet and try to analyze what's going on, what am I feeling right now. Ask yourself, how do I feel today? It's okay to tune into yourself and look at, okay, am I feeling happy today, am I feeling scared today? Ask yourself that question. Write down your thoughts and feelings. Journaling, I'll be talking about it a little later. Journaling is a very, very powerful tool where we can put down what we are feeling today, what made me happy today, what made me smile today, and what made me feel tense today. So write down all your thoughts and feelings on in a notebook or a paper. You even have apps now, right? And know when enough is enough. Encouraging people too much to dwell into their negative thoughts is also not good. So imagine somebody has a negative experience. So sometimes we say talking it out is good, journaling is good, but cannot go on and on and on with the same negative thing. You write about happiness, you write about gratitude, it's okay. The more you write, it's going to benefit you even better. But if you have had a negative experience, let's say you were walking on the street and somebody snatched your handbag, or you lost your money, or you lost your phone, somebody stole something, how many more times do you have to tell that to come out of that? So we have to realize when is enough. Okay, let's sum it up with the 10 dimensions of an emotionally intelligent person. What are the things that an emotionally intelligent person usually has? He has empathy, self awareness, curiosity, optimism, that is staying positive, an analytical mind where I am able to analyze my thoughts, adaptability, adjusting to quick changes that are going around us, belief and faith. Faith is important. Remember, we spoke about spirituality quotient also. Passion, having that real interest in whatever we do, that is important. Then we can differentiate between needs and wants. This person who has high IQ, EQ, can differentiate between their needs and wants. So I hope you understand the difference between need and want. So you can actually do little research on this. What are our needs, what are our wants? So need is our basic needs. We need air, we need water, we need food, we need clothing, we need security. So I don't know if everybody here is familiar with the hierarchy of needs, Abraham Maslow's. So you can see that we have needs, different kinds of needs. We have self-esteem needs, we have social needs, like we need friends, we need people in our life. Wants are endless. I want an iPhone, I want an iPad, and then I want this, I want that. So wants are kind of it's more of a luxury. It's not a basic need of a human being. Desire to help self and others succeed. We should be having the desire to help ourselves succeed in life and also others succeed in life. So this is a quality of a high EQ person. A high IQ person may focus on their own success much more than than the success of others. Right. So for good health, there are many things that we can do. Okay, emotional intelligence. For emotional intelligence, if it is high, our overall holistic well-being is better, right? So what all things can we do for our good health? How can we use our EI for good health? So you have so many things. So these are things that you can actually note down and search them up on the net. You have many worksheets. First one is mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness is very important. I don't know if now it's a very popular thing to practice mindfulness. So even right now you can do the exercise 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you want, you can try doing that. So just look at 5 things around you. Try to name 5 things that you can see around you right now. So I can say I can see the light, I can see the fan, I can see the laptop, I can see a chair, I can see a water bottle, right? So look at 5 things around you and name them. Then look at 4 things you can hear. Hear 4 things. List out 4 things that you can hear. So I can hear birds on the tree, or I can hear a car, for example. I can hear the sound of the doorbell. List out all the things that you can hear. One more thing I can say, I can hear my own voice, right? So, 3 things that you can touch. I can touch the table, I can touch the chair, and I can touch the laptop. So, identify 3 things that you can touch. Then take 2 things that you can smell. Any 2 things that you can smell. Yes, I can smell the room, the general fragrance of the room. It may not be a very strong smell, but sometimes they say you can actually pick up your coffee mug or something and smell it also. If you cannot identify, take a perfume bottle, smell it, take a coffee mug, smell it. So, identify the smell. Sometimes we have very strong smells around us, and one thing that you can taste. So, imagine you just had coffee or tea or whatever before coming to the session. So, that is still there, that aftertaste will still be there. If nothing, I can taste my saliva in my mouth. So, what we do with these 5 steps of mindfulness is, it helps us focus in the present moment. We are not thinking about yesterday, we are not thinking about tomorrow, we are not thinking about the exams that are coming next week, we are not thinking about what happened last week, right, good or bad. So, mindfulness is being in the present moment, and this 5 4 3 2 1 exercise you can do anywhere. You can do it sitting in your classroom, you can do it sitting in a train or a car or a bus, whatever, and nobody needs to notice that you are having this mindfulness exercise. So, you can keep doing this. It helps you to stay focused in the present moment without getting lost in the past and future. So, that is one very important thing. Either the past is pulling us or the future is pulling us, so we are never there in the present moment. Using journaling, as I said earlier, you just take a notebook, any notebook, and start writing in that anything that made you happy, anything you feel like telling somebody. So, you can, if you are going to share something very confidential or personal, make sure you lock it up properly. Or there are some journaling apps also, which you can, even digital, or you can start journaling on your laptop or in your phone, where nobody, you can lock it with a secure code. But journaling, preferably with a paper and pen, because that gives more expression. That venting out can happen better when you actually start writing. So, there are other techniques that you can use. Gratitude, as you know, gratitude is very important. Expressing thanks for what we have in life, that is one very important quality. So, maintaining a gratitude journal, right, like writing 1 or 2 points that we really are thankful for or we appreciate in life. Every day before going to bed, we can write 1 or 2 points, and there are multiple activities related to gratitude in the net. Please go and look up some worksheets. You will do that. Writing a gratitude letter to a particular person. You want to thank somebody in like you couldn't meet and thank somebody who did something really good for you in life. So, sit down and write. Maybe the person is not, you cannot talk to them right now, just sit and write a letter to them. You don't have to give it to them, right. And similarly, the opposite, I mean, this is a positive thing. The negative feelings, for example, if I have been hurt by somebody very badly, but I cannot go tell her that, you did this and that is why I am feeling hurt. For that kind of thing, you can sit and write an unsent letter. You write a letter to your boss or to your mother or to your friend or to somebody who hurt you very badly, and my feeling, this is what happened and I am hurting. You write it down. You don't have to give it to them, right. You can actually tear it up after that, right. Similarly, the emotional dump exercise is also something I learned very recently. That is also a way of writing. Just write out all your negative feelings. Keep writing, 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 whatever comes to your mind. You are angry with your friend, you are upset. See, sometimes we can't tell them so many things, but you can always write it, because you are not going to show it to anybody. Just write out your negative feelings, but don't overdo it. Only once write, and then you can tear it off. Then practice self compassion, practice self care and self love. What is self compassion? What is self care? What is self love? You know best, right? You know what. Are you being too critical to yourself? Are you being kind to yourself? How can I show self love? What are the things I can do to show self love? What are the things I can do to do self care? I can exercise, I can eat well, I can watch a movie once in a while, I can relax, I can sleep well, right. I can play sometimes for some time with my pets, it's okay, I can take out the time, right. And the self love is, again, you can go for a nice spa treatment, you can have a nice haircut, pamper yourself and be happy with being yourself, right? So what are the other things? If you this EFT is something, it's very interesting. I would like you to understand that there is some technique called emotional freedom technique. So if you go on YouTube and search it, you will get a lot of inputs on it. So that's a very interesting technique where there are certain meridian points in our body. When we tap on them, it's supposed to release negative emotions. When you tap on these particular points in our body and we say out, you know, statements of forgiveness and acceptance and all that, it releases the negative emotions. So emotional freedom technique is a very popular technique these days. And then forgiveness is very important. If something has gone wrong, somebody has hurt us, you cannot keep holding grudges, keep on talking about it. Even years later, people will talk about what happened in their first grade or something. So it's let go, forgive people, it's okay. They did something long back and they hurt us, and we choose to move on, we choose to just leave it there. You don't have to tell that person that you have forgiven them, but you can forgive that person in your heart and say, okay, I choose to let go. Practice deep breathing, practice meditation, yoga, all these things are good for your emotional well-being, because overall your health will improve, right? So some more things: practice kindness towards self and others. It is important to be kind to ourselves, not be overcritical. At the same time, be kind to others also, not be very rigid about a certain anything. So exercise regularly, because you know that exercise improves our immunity, it improves our positivity, more oxygen to the brain, so it makes us feel better also, right? Laugh a lot and make others laugh. Laughter is the best medicine, they say, right? It's very important that you should be able to laugh, sometimes even at your own silly mistakes. Eat a balanced diet. We understand food, nutrition, we all, I think you would have read it in school itself, why vitamins are important, why certain minerals are important, and why should we take proteins, carbohydrates, fats, all these in certain amounts, right? So we take all good food, consult a dietitian if you need to, but don't starve yourself, or don't go overboard with the junk food or fast food or something, because they not only upset your body, they also upset your mind. So later on, this again we are caught in a guilt cycle, that I shouldn't have eaten that ice cream or that pizza. No, when you eat, you enjoy that, but then try to stay as balanced and good in your nutrition. Then drink plenty of water. As you know the importance of water, there is no need to overdo anything. So some people may say drink 4 liters, 5 liters. Drink as much as you are comfortable drinking, but hydrate yourself, right? And use humor to handle tough situations. As I said, sometimes that's the only weapon we have, is to play it light. Okay, it's okay, next time I'll be more careful. Yeah, I messed up, or I was, it's okay to laugh it off. There's only like if I forget something, I say, oh look, my age is catching up, or something like that. So I forget people's names, I say that, see, I'm getting older. So you need to play it down sometimes. Don't take yourself too seriously, like we already said, because no one else does. No one else really spends so much time thinking about you as much as you do. So be open to all these things, and then sleep for at least 6 to 8 hours. It's important to get your sleep well, and if necessary, there is nothing wrong in consulting a mental health professional. This is something I would like you to know, is seeking help for ourselves or for our family members is not wrong. And there have been times where people used to have a lot of stigma around seeking help for mental health. Things are getting better. Reach out, talk to people who care about you, and tell them what you're going through, or whatever your friend or your family member is going through, and take help, right? And there are many more points. You can yourself come up with so many points that will help you feel better and emotionally much better. Okay, finally we are going to take a quiz before we end today's session. I want you to take a paper and pen and start scoring yourself according to the questions and the cues given. Okay, can we start? Okay, the first question is, in my group of friends, I am generally aware of how each person feels about the other people in our social circle. So there are 5, 6 friends. When one person, for example, I know what A thinks about everybody else, I know what B thinks, I know who is close to whom, I know who is not so friendly with the other person. I have a very good idea of how these people are. So, if you strongly agree with what I am saying, give yourself a 3, otherwise say 2 for agree, 1 if you disagree with what I am saying, and 0 for strongly disagree. Second question, when I am upset, I can usually pinpoint exactly why I am distressed. Exactly, this is why I am feeling this way. Are you able to point out? This is not easy for people. Okay, some people are very clearly, they can say, you know, this happened, this is why I am feeling this way. Some people have no clue, I have no idea. Some people even cry and say, I don't know why, but I am feeling miserable, I am feeling like. So, are you the kind of person who can exactly pinpoint when you are upset or distressed, why it is? Third question, while there are some things that I would like to change, I generally like who I am. On the whole, I like being this person that I am. Do you strongly agree? 3, 2 agree, 1 disagree, and 0 for strongly disagree. The fourth question, when I make mistakes, I often berate and criticize myself and my abilities. If I make a mistake, am I very angry with myself? Do I criticize myself? For this, the scoring is a little different. 0 for often, 1 sometimes, 2 rarely, 3 almost never. Okay, the next question. I feel uncomfortable in emotionally charged situations. So, there are some situations where there are a lot of emotions, high emotions, right. It can be when the results are being declared for a competitive exam, or when usually it is negative emotions which we have difficulty in handling, right. So, let us say a room full of people who are expecting the results, and different people have different expectations. So, 0 for strongly agree, 1 for agree, 2 for disagree, and 3 for strongly disagree. I tend to avoid confrontations. When I am involved in a confrontation, I become extremely anxious. So, confrontation is when you have to go face something unpleasant and ask somebody, why did you do this, or what happened actually. So, there is a lot of argument that could follow, right. So, you try to avoid the confrontations and you try to get involved. If ever you have to go there, you become extremely anxious. If you are that kind of person, you strongly agree with the statement, give yourself a 0, 1 for agree, 2 for disagree, and 3 for strongly disagree. The seventh question is, I am generally aloof and detached until I really get to know a person. So, remember the first day of college, when you came to college, there are some people who talk to a lot of people on the first day and make 5 friends before going home on the day 1 itself. Some people need time. They would have probably spoken to only few people, and then they don't exchange numbers immediately, they don't become very friendly. Which kind of person are you? Are you generally aloof, but you know, really you get to know a person, then you become friends with them? If you strongly agree, give yourself a 0, 1 for agree, 2 for disagree, and 3 for strongly disagree. Eighth one is, I tend to overreact to minor problems. So, again, minor problems, traffic delays, you know, I forgot to bring my whatever you had to bring today to college, forgot to carry my phone, or you know, vehicle trouble or something on the way. So, these things, do you overreact to them? Again, you have to understand and define your definition of overreact. For small things, I go and start screaming at people, or I start throwing tantrums, or I start crying or screaming. Do I do that? If I do, 0 for often, 1 for sometimes, 2 for rarely, and 3 for almost never. The next question is, I feel confident about my own skills, talents, and abilities. My talents, my abilities, whatever I have, skills, I feel confident about them. 3 for strongly agree, 2 for agree, 1 for disagree, and 0 for strongly disagree. The next question, I would describe myself as a good judge of character. I can judge the other person's character pretty well. I can tell who's what kind of a person. 3 for strongly agree, 2 for agree, 1 for disagree, and 0 for strongly disagree. Number 11, when I am facing an unpleasant task, I tend to make a plan and work on it little each day, or I get it over with as soon as possible. I put it off until the last minute and I don't do it, or I don't do it at all. Let us say there is something I really don't like doing, but I have to do. There's an unpleasant task like a particular project submission that I really don't feel like doing. I don't even like the topic, I don't understand the topic, I don't feel like doing, but I have to submit, it's compulsory, right? So, do I do little by little every day so that I'll finish it and submit it? Or do I just try to get it over as soon as possible so that that unpleasantness is dealt with, I don't have to worry about it anymore? Do I put it off till the last moment? Did I really have to submit it tomorrow, so I am sitting and working on it today? Or don't do it at all. I'll face the consequences, but I don't want to do this. I don't like doing it. It doesn't have to be a project, it can be so many other examples. Okay, you are supposed to visit somebody, you don't like to visit, your mother saying no, you have to go visit that aunt, she's in town, you have to go meet her before she leaves, and you don't like her because she's always been mean to you earlier or some reason. So you might either want to just finish it off, but of course you can't go meet her. In the first option doesn't apply for this example, but you might as well get it done, or you don't do it. What is your option? So if you are facing something unpleasant and you have to do it, is it a 3, 2, 1 or 0 according to the options? 12th question, during a heated argument, I am more likely to do what? Number 1, am I likely to stop the fight and agree to take a short break before resuming the discussion? So we are going on and on and on with our points. You know what, let's take a break. Let's meet in the evening or meet in half an hour and then we will discuss about it. Do you want to do that? Or do you want to shut down and stop responding to the other person totally? And the person will be going on and on and on, they'll be screaming, and you can always choose not to respond, just become quiet. Or give in and apologize in order to quickly end the argument. There are so many people who say sorry just so that it gets over. So sometimes we end up apologizing without making a mistake. So are you that kind of person who say, okay, sorry, it was my mistake, I shouldn't have said that, sorry, forgive me, okay, can we stop this now? Is that the kind of person you are? Or are you the person who starts insulting the other person? Do you start insulting the other person by saying you are like this, you are like that, you name calling, labeling them, calling them that you are always this arrogant person, you never listen to me, you did that, you always do this. Are you that kind of person? So in a heated argument, what is your most likely response? Look at the screen and choose 3, 2, 1 or 0. Number 13, when making an important decision, I tend to follow my instincts, rely on direction from other people, go with the easiest option, or guess randomly. Let's say it's an important decision, okay, like you finished 10th standard, you finished, let's say 12th standard, and you're getting into college. It's an important decision that you have to take. Which course are you going to take, right? Do you follow your instincts? Okay, this box number 3 looks good, something tells me I should tick this box. Is that how you choose what you want to study? Or do you rely on direction from other people? You let people tell you what to do, like your mother has an opinion, your father has an opinion, your cousins or somebody may tell you, or your teachers may tell you, this is your strength, you should apply for this particular course. Or go with the easiest option because this is easily available, there is no crowd, no competition for this, should I go for that? Or you just guess randomly and tick. So there are so many other important decisions, not just career wise, other important decisions also, right? It's not like wearing what dress to wear to college is not an important decision. Eventually I'll wear this or the other one some other day. When you're talking about important decisions, it could be financial decisions, it could be related to career or your academics, or it could be related to choosing a life partner, right? So what are the things that you do you follow your instincts? Give yourself a 3. You rely on direction from other people, you go with the easiest option, or you guess randomly. Instincts are my example earlier was not like you can tick a box, it's like what you feel, like this is the best thing to do, this is what I feel is a correct decision to take. Which of the following statements best describes you? You give yourself a 3 if you have this option. I have an easy time making friends and getting to know new people. What kind of a person are you? Which statement describes you best? If you are a person who says, I have an easy time making friends and getting to know new people, then give yourself a 3. I get along well with others, but I have to really get to know someone before they become a true friend. So, that is give yourself a 2 if you get along well with others, but if you have to make friends, you should really know them well. Now, give yourself a 1 if you say, I find it difficult to meet people and make friends, and a 0 if I cannot make friends. Okay. See which statement describes you best, and you can choose that option. Okay. 15th question is, you have invested a lot of time and energy into a project for one of your classes. Okay. Let us assume that while you feel confident about your work, your instructor gives you a C plus on the project. How do you deal with this situation? You did really well on a project, you put a lot of time, lot of effort, and then when the grading was done, you were given a C plus on a project. What do you think? Number 1, what do you do? Do you decide that the class was so stupid and you don't even want to put efforts in that class? This subject is something I will never get. I don't like this subject. This class itself was so dumb. I don't want to attend this class anymore. And you stop putting your efforts. Is that what you do? If that is your answer, give yourself a 0. So, when you berate and criticize your own work saying that I got a C plus, obviously it means I am not good enough. Oh, I should have put better effort, I didn't do that, I should have done this, I should have done that. Do you keep blaming yourself and criticizing yourself? In that case, give yourself a 1. Give yourself a 2 if you confront the professor, though I would not exactly say the word confront is correct. You go talk to your professor and ask for a better grade. You can always say, sir, why this happened? I am sure this happened in school so many times. Sir, why sir? Please give me +2, please give me +3. Why did you not give me 5 out of 5? Why did I get only 2 out of 5? Or something like this. These kind of negotiations happen. It's very nice and cute at a very young age, but let's say that it's a right thing to do. Is it for you? Is it the right thing to do for you to go meet the professor and ask, sir, can you tell me why I got a C plus? Where did I go wrong? What were your expectations on this project and what did I not fulfill? Instead of using the word confront, I would say have a talk, right, discussion. And in that case, give yourself a 2. And the third option will be, when you give yourself a 3, would be to think about ways you could improve the project and apply these ideas for future school work. So, the ideal emotionally intelligent person would be a mix of these last 2 points, where you actually go get the feedback from your professor, try to understand what could have been done better, and then implement it in your next project, right. Or if they ask you to submit a new project, you will implement all the changes suggested in your next effort. One of your classmates has a habit that annoys you. The problem seems to be getting worse each day. How do you respond? So, just imagine you have a friend who has some particular habit that's annoying. I am listening to the lecture and she's calling me and talking to me, interrupting the class. I am trying to listen to the teacher and this person is trying to talk to me, or suddenly she starts showing me something that she has, some family photos or something, she wants to talk about some function, something that is interrupting. It's annoying every time a class is going on and she starts talking. I don't like that habit. So, what do we do? What kind of a person are you? How do you react to this? You tell your classmate what is bothering you. You call that girl and tell her, you know what, when the class is going on, please do not call me or try to talk to me. I don't like it. I feel disturbed. I don't like it when you talk to me when the class is. Do you tell your classmate what is bothering you upfront to her? Then give yourself a 3. You make a complaint about the behavior of this girl to your teacher. You go and tell a teacher that this girl is disturbing me in class. If you are doing that, you can give yourself a 2. You talk about your classmate behind her back to the others. She is not there and you are telling some XYZ that you know what this girl does, this is what she does. So, if you are doing that, give yourself a 1, or you suffer in silence. That is one of the worst options possible. It's okay to even gossip about them, but suffering in silence should never be an option, right? So, yes, if you are giving, if suffering in silence is what you are doing, give yourself a 0. So, I think this is the end of the quiz. So, just to conclude, okay, just to conclude, we spoke so much about emotional intelligence, the importance of emotional intelligence, and so much has research is going on in this field. It's much newer in the field of psychology. It is not still completely understood, but what we know is that emotions play a very critical role, very important role in our lives. Like I said, brain capacity, IQ, is supposed to be standard, and any work we get within, you know, the IQ, there is a range, 120 to I think 160 or something. This is a normal range for 110, 100 to 110 or something is considered the normal thing. Up to 140, 150, it's a very good IQ. So that people are in different domains of life. They are highly successful in different careers, but unless we have good EQ, we cannot manage our everyday stresses also. Every small thing can trigger us into a breakdown situation. So, while tools and technology can help us to learn and master information, nothing can replace our ability to learn, manage and master our emotions and the emotions of people around us. Okay. So, there are a few suggested resources that I have for you. The book written by Daniel Goleman, Emotional Intelligence, is a very good book. So, it has so many examples. He gives a lot of examples of cases that he has handled. So, it is a very interesting book if you can read. There are many online tests, that free online tests are there, that you can take for EQ, for self care, for finding out your self compassion. Different kinds of quizzes are there online. You can go and take your measure your EQ. Like I said, first you measure your EQ, and then when you do an online test, the interpretation and the score come immediately, and they will tell you which area you can improve on. There are many gratitude journals or worksheets which are available online, or you can just write 1 or 2 things every day that you are truly thankful for. There are many gratitude activities, also suggestions that you can find online. And mindfulness, as I said, is a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a practice that you can do. Apart from that, mindfulness worksheets that help you to keep your mind in the present moment. YouTube videos are available, as I said, on EQ, about EI, about Daniel Goleman, about anything that you want to go and look into, and learn more. It's available there. There are many TED talks, motivational talks, everything and anything is available if you only search for it on the net. So, there are some free apps like a gratitude app. Some of the apps which used to be free have become paid now, so you please check. So, there is something called Headspace, there is something called Evernote, there is a mindfulness app, there is a journaling app. So, Evernote is a journaling app. So, you can choose what you want to do and use them. And EQ is something that can be developed definitely with practice. So, please remember that there is no perfect score for it. There are these quiz questions, but to give you a fair idea of how emotionally intelligent you are and what are the areas that, like I said, when we identify these 5 areas, which areas are my strong areas, which areas are my areas of improvement, like my relationship. By relationship, I mean interpersonal relationships of every kind. Okay, I mean your relationship with your family members, with your neighbors, in a community as such, or with your classmates, with your teachers, with your peer group, with your superiors. So, all these things are called relationships, right? So, these are important, that when I know how the other person is feeling, accordingly my behavior can be tuned so that I don't hurt them, right? Thank you so much, children. So, I hope you have a nice day, and wishing you great EQ. Thank you.